Hello everyone, my name is Chris Topper and I'd like to welcome you to another installment of the Figuring Out Fatherhood Chris Unplugged podcast. Today's episode is going to be a fairly quick one. I just wanted to talk to people out there about men who struggle to come to terms with the fact that their child's mum is moving on. I haven't actually come up with a title for this episode just yet. The one I've been considering is adjusting to the new man in her life, but I'm not sure if that actually covers the entirety of what I'm trying to cover today. The first thing to actually note before we get right into it is that if you feel the type of way about your child's mum moving on with another man, it's important that you know that you're not alone in this. You're not the first man to feel the type of way about this, and you definitely won't be the last. But what we can do is support each other through this process. There's a reason why you feel this way. It could be that you feel threatened. It could be that you're unhappy with the fact that she's going to introduce another man to your child. You're not happy with the prospect of your child looking at another man as their dad. You're not happy with the fact that another man is getting to know your child. You're not happy with the fact that another man is going to spend so much time with your child. Again, no matter the reason why, if you feel a type of way, you're not alone in these fears. You're not alone in these feelings. Maintaining a relationship with your child or children when you're not the primary carer and you're co-parenting is difficult enough as it is. Now, throw into the mix another man. What do you actually do? What's the best way to approach this? Some people make life difficult for their ex. They make life difficult for their ex to move on. They speak negatively about this new man to their child. They use their child sort of like a spy to find out how their relationship is going. Some people just downright don't wish their ex to move on. They're not happy with that and they don't wish them well. But like I always say, we're trying to build a community here, and what we want to do is support each other through this process. It's unfair for us to hope or to prevent our exes from moving on. It's unfair for us to prevent our children's mother from moving on. If she's not happy, she's not going to create an environment where your child is happy as well. A few questions for you to ask yourself if you feel a type of way about the fact that your child's mum is moving on. Do you feel threatened? Do you feel threatened by the prospect of your child spending more time with another man than your child spends with you? Do you feel threatened by the prospect of your child referring to another man as dad? Do you feel threatened by the fact that your child's mum may find happiness with someone else that she couldn't find with you? There are so many questions around being threatened that you need to ask yourself first and foremost. If you feel a type of way about her moving on, ask yourself, do you feel threatened by something? And if you're unsure what the answer is, it may be time to look deep within. And if the answer is not no, find out why you feel threatened. Is it because you don't spend enough time with your child as it is? If that's the case, negotiate with your child's mum so you can spend more time with your child. Do you feel threatened that your child may call someone else dad? Now, realistically speaking, your child isn't looking for a replacement dad, unless, of course, you're an absent or inconsistent dad. I've covered both these topics in previous episodes, so have a look at them if you're unsure what these are. But if you're inconsistent in your child's life or you're absent from your child's life, you have no right, absolutely no right to try and prevent your child's mum from moving on. Second question is, are you fearful that your child will get closer to this new man than your child will with you? Again, you have to ask yourself, why do you feel this way? Is it because you haven't made an active effort to get close to your child? If that's the case, there's no time like the present to start to fix that. Because this new man is going to have to get to know your child in his own capacity, in his own time. So you have a bit of a head start, right? However, if you're complacent or you're blasé about this, of course, it's only a matter of time, especially if he makes effort to get close to your child or get to know your child. You can't stop this just because you feel a type of way. The only way you can genuinely stop this from happening is by getting close to your child in the first place. Your child doesn't want a replacement dad. I can't stress this enough. He's not looking for a replacement dad unless you're absent or inconsistent. Another question you need to ask yourself is, are you not over your ex or your child's mum? If this is the case, there may be a conversation that needs to be had. And if this conversation has happened already and she's found clersure, you may need to get closure as well, because there's no point in you stewing in your own feelings and being upset at the fact that she's with another man. She's clearly identified that there's no future with you in the picture as her partner, so you may need to come to terms with that as well. There's no point kicking up a fuss and refusing to accept this, because all you're going to do is create an environment where you're not happy, she's not happy, your child is not happy, no one is happy. You're not going to be satisfied with the fact that now she's single, you're single, and you're both just unhappy, and she still refuses to be with you. If this is something you're struggling to deal with or come to terms with, I will encourage you to get therapy or to seek counselling. In addition to not being over her, actually, there's also the possibility that you bear some kind of resentment towards her with regards to how the relationship ended or how she's gone about moving on, for example. Maybe things didn't work out, but you were still hopeful things could work out based on things she said, but behind your back, you felt that she's now moved on without letting you know, and you resent her for it. But if that's the case, like I said previously, there's a conversation to be had. Speak to her about that if that's the case. Speak to her about your concerns, and ultimately, hopefully, you can have an adult conversation about it. But if you go about it the wrong way and you go about it all emotional and you're angry, you're trying to hurt her in the process, trying to hurt him in the process, it's not going to be a productive conversation. And what happens is you're just going to create a cycle of anger towards each other. Now you're going back and forth. You now become high conflict co-parents. Shameless plug, make sure you watch the episode where I covered high conflict co-parent. And you know what, maybe you just don't want to be happy because you're not happy within yourself. What I find is a lot of men aren't really willing to admit that they're just not happy within themselves. It could be because of their position in life, it could be the fact that they're single, it could be the fact that they're not where they want to be at that point in time. And as a result of that, they don't want their partner, so their ex-partner, to move on. Misery loves company, as they say. So you're not happy, you want other people to not be happy as well. But you know what, I've said to have a conversation with her about twice now. Now, one of the biggest causes of concern when your child's mum is moving on is the relationship you actually have with your child's mum. If you had a bad relationship with her and she's now moving on, you're going to feel like you're getting left behind. Now, if you feel this way, I encourage you to try to fix that relationship you have with your child's mum. A lot of men say stuff like, oh no, she hates me, oh no, she's childish, oh no, she's this, she's that, and she does this, she does that. But if that's how you genuinely feel, and if that's what's genuinely happening, I encourage you to rise above it. You know, you want to claim masculinity, you want to claim you're a man, you want to claim you're the man of the house, head of the house, all these things. But instead, what you're doing is you want to reduce yourself to the level of someone that you've labeled childish, you've labeled immature. Why would you do that with all this masculinity you claim to have within you? If you don't have a good, or at least respectful, or at the very least cordial relationship with your child's mum, I encourage you to work on fixing that from now. So without further ado, here are 4 tips you can follow in order to help you adjust to this new man she has in her life. First one, be real with yourself. Are you not over her? Are you still heartbroken? Do you want her back? Ask yourself these questions, and if this is the case, like I said, it just means you haven't come to terms with the breakup, you haven't come to terms with the fact that she's moving on, you haven't come to terms with the fact that she's over you. So, if you feel this way, seek therapy. Do things that make you feel good about yourself, do things that will get you back in your groove. And you know what, maybe you want to consider dating again, dating other people. The irony of it all is that some of you probably have already started dating, just not happy with the fact that she's moved on. Some of you find comfort in knowing that your ex hasn't moved on, which is why when she does move on, you're unhappy with that. If that's how you actually feel, you need to understand that there's potentially something wrong with you and you need to go seek therapy, because there's no reason why you feel like you're entitled to move on, but you feel like your child's mum isn't entitled to move on. Second tip, be supportive of her new relationship. Her happiness with her new man may not necessarily reflect your shortcomings in your relationship that you had with her. It could be that she hadn't truly found herself while she was with you, and now she knows exactly what she wants, and this new man's providing that. That's not a fault on your behalf. That's just life, really. People grow, people change, and their needs and wants change as they get older. Circle of life, it happens. And you know what? If her newfound happiness does reflect your shortcomings in the relationship, it's giving you a platform to learn from. It's giving you something to work on moving forward, so that you don't repeat these same mistakes with your new woman. It shows you the things that you did wrong in your relationship, and you learn from it. Everything in life, every setback in life is a lesson. Depending on how you look at it anyway. You can decide to do, oh, woe is me, she's left me, I'm so unhappy, it could have been us. Or come to terms with the fact that she's moved on, and you move on yourself, and you can, from that point onwards, you can decide to do right by any woman you choose to date moving forward. It's pretty simple, right? in theory. Like I said previously, as long as you're supportive and you're supportive of her happiness, she's going to recognize this. Your child is also going to recognize this. And a happy environment for your child's mum, if she's the primary carer of your child, is a happy environment for your child as well. Plus, a new man, it takes the heat off you, to be honest, because now she won't even have your time. Third tip, and this is one I know you might groan or sigh at when you hear it, but stay with me. Get to know him. Again, this is difficult because this may be someone that you actively dislike, because this is someone that's with someone that you may have loved or you may have liked a lot, but essentially someone that you have a child with, and that this new man wants to up his chest and be the man in her life. But you're better off getting to know him, getting to know what kind of man he is, getting to know what his morals, getting to understand what he stands for, because it's going to spend time with your child at some point. Maybe not immediately, but at some point in your child's life, they're going to grow up and get to know this new man. You're better off getting to know them first. That way you can vet him, you can know what he's about, and build, not necessarily trust, but build a cordial relationship with him. How can you actively refuse to get to know someone that your child is going to be spending time with? It doesn't make any sense, does it? The fourth and final tip is heal. Heal from whatever happened between you two. Heal for your own good. Heal for your child's good. Heal for the good of everyone, essentially. Holding on to the past and not letting go of the past stops you from moving forward in your life. If you're struggling with healing, please seek out therapy. If you're struggling with healing, please speak to your friends. I know as men, some men do say things like, oh, man up, suck it up, or your pride will stop you from speaking to another man about how you're feeling. But please know, if these are the men you have around you, when it comes to talking about your feelings and your emotions, it may be time to expand your friendship bracket. Not all men think this way, and if it's something you're struggling with, feel free to drop me an email and I can hear you out. My email address is chris@figureoutfatherhood.com. And now, as I wrap up this episode, like I said, it was going to be a fairly quick one. There are two things I want to leave you with. The first thing, spend as much time with your child as you possibly can. If you feel like you're not spending enough time with your child, speak to your child's mother about renegotiating your agreed timeshare. If you spend as much time with your child as you possibly can, one, your child will appreciate it. Two, you're going to love it. And three, the bond you have with your child will be unbreakable. Unbreakable. No one can come between you and your child. But if you don't try and spend more time with your child as you can, and there's a new man spending a lot more time with your child than you are, you're going to continue to feel threatened by him, unfortunately. And finally, you should hope your child takes to her new man. It makes life easier for everyone, literally everyone. You wouldn't want your child to be in a position where they're at their mum's and in an environment they're not happy in. You want your child to be happy, you want your child to be at peace. So you should hope that your child takes to a new man. So that's all I have for you today, guys. I'm going to leave you how I always leave you, and that's to make it your mission today to make a decision that future you'll be grateful for. Future you'll be grateful for adjusting to this new man in your child's mother's life. It will make life easier for you, for your child's mum, and for your child entirely. So, until next time, guys.